What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Game Week. We're finally back this week, or finally. I'm not sure if I need to say finally, because I think a lot of people are like, ugh, we play again. But we play Lazio on Saturday, and, well, I want to say it's a must-win game, but that just, yeah, I mean, one win out of 8. Top 4 at massive risk, tough schedule. Lazio have a new coach, Tudor. We need to win that game. How? No idea, but we're going to talk about that during the week. This video is about Soule, because if we talk about Chiesa, what's going to happen with him in the future, then Soule is the big question mark, because a lot of people have things to say on him. Fans, media, ex-players, he himself as well. He spoke, but nobody actually has a clue what really is going to happen with Soule. The media thinks we're going to sell him. He thinks he can have a shot. I don't know what the club thinks. We don't know that. But that's what we're going to talk about. Before we get into it, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification as well. We're getting close to 5K. But yeah, let's jump straight into it. Okay, so Soule, like I said, I think the conversation, started again after his goal. His goal was ridiculously good. Like, that was just pure talent. I know a lot of people like to downplay the goal, calling it fluky. But that's just because they don't want to admit what he did to kid. That was just ridiculously pure talent, that goal, because you shouldn't be scoring like that at all. Not even as a fluke, but it wasn't a fluke. He knew what he was doing, and that was a great goal. There's no denying that he can play and that he's extremely talented. But the question mark is always, is he going to be good enough? Now, when people say we need the best of the best, I agree 100%. But you also need to realize we're not that team. Financially and as a structure, we're not that team. So we cannot go and sign a Tevez right now. We don't have, or pay 90 million euros to bring in Higuain. We don't have that power right now at all. That people need to keep in mind. Soule went out on loan, is playing for one of the worst teams in the league, literally one of the worst teams in the league. They're in relegation, in the bottom 3 right now, and he's still top of the league in many categories, actually in Europe as well. Creating chances and all those things. Is he the finished article? No, but the steps he took this season were massive. People are scared about his physique, that he didn't really develop in that way, that it's not physical enough. That's very easy to fix, to be honest. The only thing that maybe I think he needs to improve a bit better is, and I know he's number 1 in take-ons and all those things, but 1v1, he can still be much, much better because he has all the technique. But his best ability is creating chances or putting people in front of goal, even if they don't miss, if his teammates, miss his chances, especially Khedira up top, one of the highest paid, or is the highest paid player in that squad. He creates chances. He can create chances, from deep, very deep, in on opponent's half or around midfield. Like, he can set up a player one-on-one or close to one-on-one with a through ball, bypassing 2-3 opponents, and he does that regularly. And people are screaming, and we are screaming, man, we cannot create anything. He can. Closer to goal, I think he needs to improve in that regard, creating closer up to goal. But he can create from deep because his technique, his passing is excellent, and he can pick out those spaces, and he can put you one-on-one. He's been doing that for Frosinone all season long. And that's a quality we don't have in this team at all. Like, who can do that? Nobody. Like, absolutely nobody can do that. Now, if we go deeper in, like, we're being linked with Felipe Anderson, and I talked about Felipe Anderson. You sell Soule, you bring him in on a free, financially, big win for the club. I get that. Or, like, the club gets that, basically. But is it worth letting him go right now? Is it really worth that? I know his value is at a high, but financially, if you look at how we set up, doesn't make it more doesn't it should be making more sense to keep him, because he played well. He plays for a bad Frosinone team, a really bad one actually, and he is their main guy. I don't want to hear, oh, everybody, it's all about him, so he gets all the spotlight. That's what he shines. Okay, then you lay low at Juve, and you're one of the guys, I guess, and you do your thing on your own, and you go under the radar. I'm not so sure, whatever. But it's the biggest thing in the summer. It is the biggest thing because he has a high value, big value for the club. However, technically, like pure talent and technical ability, he's one of the best players we have if he came back in the squad. Literally. Like actually, literally. And you can call it sad, because you can say we need the best of the best. And like I said a couple of weeks ago, the narrative is switching, it's switching. Now the next coach has no time because Allegri didn't have the best of the best, after 3 years. We know we don't have the best of the best. We know we're not going to have the best of the best next season. We need to add experience, good experience, in my opinion, experience with real playing ability as well. Modric, somebody said, Kroos, somebody said, it's not going to happen. Not at that level, but the next level underneath, maybe. We need that in this team, 100% sure. But on Soule, again, a bit like Ealing Jr., if we let him go, I think it's more regret. And, maybe we're wrong and they all flop. They don't become very good players and they just become guys, and that's about it. However, it's just a regret, that we let him go. If we let him go without giving him proper chance to prove himself at the club. Same for Junior, in my opinion, like way too not enough minutes to actually say he's good enough, he's not good enough. But with Soule, like all the good things he has shown at Frosinone. Not at Juve, but at Frosinone. And I don't buy the excuse of, oh, it's Frosinone. That's why it is. Man, that Frosinone team stinks. And he's still shining over there. He's shining over there. Stats-wise, like the goals he scores, the technique he has, and he's still not the finished article, which is a good thing, I guess, because he can still get better. And you can say we don't have time to grow players at Juve. I would agree if we were in 2016. We're not. So the next coach, that's the job. The job is competing, improving players, and build something while adding experience around them. That didn't happen the last 3 years at all. I don't want to hear Miretti and Yildiz got a shot and all those things. They only got a shot when players were injured and we were desperate. That's the only way they got shots. But none of these players improved. And you can say they're not good enough, okay. But if these players are not good enough, then none of these players coming out of the academy in the next couple of seasons are going to be good enough. It's just as simple as that. If Soule, if you think that Allegri has done enough with players like Yildiz, Miretti, Junior, Soule, Barnicea, Huijsen, whatever, and you think he has done enough, they're just not good enough, then close the next gen. Because it's a pointless thing to have, because this crop of players, you're not going to get players better out of the academy anytime soon. Like, it's just not going to happen at all. Like, it's not going to happen. So, the next coach, he's going to have to deal with it, and he's going to need to improve these players because they are going to stick around. Maybe not all of them, because Soule has a high value, but some of them are going to stick around, and he's going to need to work with them. He's going to need to improve them, and he's going to need to integrate them with the more experienced players while competing and, in the long run or in the short run, winning. But the Soule one, it's very interesting because it divides the fan base again. So my question is in the comments, let me know what will you do with Soule. Is it depending on the coach? Is it depending on him? Is it depending on the transfer fee? Whatever. Let me know in the comments. Like the video. Subscribe. And I will be back later tonight with a live show.